Hello everybody and welcome back to Robert's Reviews. Today is Tuesday, and you know what that means? That means we're going to be watching another Robin Williams movie so that you don't have to. And I'm kind of getting wore out on this series because all the movies are so weird. They're so different than the next one. But this one surprised me a lot, and I'm very, very excited that I got to watch it. This is a movie that I think is truly a hidden gem. I did not know this movie existed at all. And when I started watching it, I was just kind of like, okay, it's another movie. Blah, blah, blah. Robin Williams isn't even that prominent in it at all. He has like 2 scenes. But boy, is it a good movie. I really enjoyed it. So today we're going to be talking about Dead Again. Dead Again was released in 1991. It was written by Scott Frank and directed by the great Kenneth Branagh. And I think, of course, first of all, no spoilers, but I think this is one of the better movies that I've seen in the past few weeks. A lot of the past few weeks have been kind of like worn down movies that are just kind of like, ugh. This one felt so original. Like the script and everything is just so original that it blew my mind, honestly. I was very, very excited about it. Once I started watching this movie, I realized that like I have a love for movies that are like mysteries, but also like romantic and kind of like that kind of thing, kind of like Ghost. It's similar to Ghost in terms of like the tone of the movie, which I loved Ghost. And this movie, I think, is very much outlined by its actors, which I'll get to in a little bit. But the general idea is that this mysterious woman shows up and no one knows who she is. She doesn't know who she is either. She has no memory. And so Kenneth Branagh's character, Mike Church, decides to take her in and help her figure out who she is. So he takes her to a hypnotist who takes her back to her previous life, where she was a different person and she was murdered by her husband. But it was her. She remembers it being her. So it's this crazy thing where like there's this theory where everyone's lived before, and then when you do something wrong, it is karma for the next life. And so there's this really cool hidden story and hidden mystery that's like honestly very well written and very well directed, that kind of leads to a really cool escalation of amazing cinematography and acting that I think is quite wonderful. One other thing about this movie that I really loved was the soundtrack. The soundtrack of this film is so good. Like, this is going to be a very big topic, but I think this is like one of the best soundtracks I've heard for any movie. I think it works so well with the film. It's so good. I love it so much. It works so well with everything they do. There's always music going on in the background, and it matches the perfect tone for what's going on screen. I was very impressed with the work in terms of the music here. The acting was phenomenal. We had Kenneth Branagh. I think he's wonderful. I had a great time watching him. I haven't seen a movie of him in a long time. And of course, I saw The Chamber of Secrets like a month or two ago. And he was good in that, but you know, beyond that, I haven't really seen any of his movies. So I really like this one. I will be watching Hamlet later on in the year. He also directed that and stars in that, so I'm excited to see that for sure. But this movie was just so good, and him as the lead was a good choice, and I know that he probably chose that because he directed it, but I think that this was a good like idea for him. I think it really worked. Emma Thompson, who plays Grace, is wonderful. I had no idea that like this person existed. I know she was Trelawney from Harry Potter, but like you can't tell that at all. But she's wonderful, like absolutely brilliant in this movie. Like one of the best performances I've seen in a very long time, so good for her. And of course, we are obligated to talk about Robin Williams, who plays Dr. Cozy Carlyle. And he is basically a retired shrink who takes his time, he spends his time as a grocer. So he like fills up grocery stores and all that kind of thing. And he's a cool character. And I think Robin Williams really embraced it. It was a small character. He's only like 2 or 3 scenes. But I think that with Robin Williams being that person, it worked very well. Like he was ready for it, and it was very, very, it felt intense, even though it was a few minutes of screen time. I think it was a good use of Robin Williams, particularly considering that he wasn't a lead. I found that kind of shocking, but I really enjoyed it. And it's a hidden gem for him too. I mean, I bet most people wouldn't know that he was in this movie without like Googling it. He's very, very fantastic. I enjoyed his work a lot here. Even though he's only in a couple scenes, he really was still a spotlight. overall, the movie's very solid. Like, it's not perfect. There are a lot of issues, but, like, it's very solid. Like, it feels extremely entertaining. The mystery is very fun. The climax is very, very wildly entertaining. And what I really get out of this is that the characters don't matter a whole lot in this movie. I don't even like most of them. But what I like about the film is that it focuses on story so much that you don't even care about the characters. Like, I literally watched this movie, like, and was like, wow, this is really good. I felt that in my soul. Like, this is a good movie. And a lot of it had to do with just the story was so freaking cool. The acting was just fine. I didn't have a problem with it. The acting was good, but, like, the characters didn't matter. They had almost no arc to them. And I was okay with that because the story was just so freaking cool. And I think the issue with the film that I think some people will notice is it does get a little overzealous in what it wants to do, and it reflects that in the film itself, which I didn't necessarily like a whole lot. Not that I think it was bad, but like it felt very self-indulgent at times, and it was definitely a little slow, particularly in the middle. But overall, it's still a very, very good movie, and definitely something that you should watch. I rented this on Redbox. I'm sure you can find it on Vudu, Fandango Now, all that kind of places. But definitely worth a watch. And I'm going to go ahead and give Dead Again an A. So there you go, another Robin Williams movie in the bank. We still got so many more. We're going to be doing this probably for the next year still. So buckle your seatbelts. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys are interested in this kind of thing, definitely subscribe. I go through every single one, and it's been, you know, absolutely a blast so far. I'm really enjoying it. It's one of my favorite series I've done so far, I think. I think my favorite series I've done so far is Leonardo DiCaprio. If you like Leonardo DiCaprio, definitely check out that playlist I made where I've reviewed every single one of his movies. I also did Steve Carell, so if you're interested in that, definitely do that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys are considering subscribing, liking the video, sharing with your friends, and as always, keep watching movies and television. Stay educated, and I'll see you guys in the next video.